Welcome back. Now, South Africa's red meat industry is cautiously optimistic as government steps up its response to the ongoing foot and mouth disease outbreak. Agriculture Minister John Steenhuisen has announced new measures, including expanded vaccine procurement, the easing of some disease management areas, and the establishment of a joint government industry task team. To unpack what this means for producers and the broader agri-economy's reaction, Imameleng Mothebe, CEO of the Association of Meat Importers and Exporters of SA, joins us now. Imameleng, thanks so much for your time today. Let's start with your initial reaction to the move. The minister there also saying that the plan includes eliminating FMD by 2036, a year that has been floated around before.
Thank you so much for having us. And as the association, we are pleased with the announcement from the minister. I think we are all aware that for the last 3 years, FMD have been decimating meat trade, both locally and internationally.
Yeah.
So this is a welcome development for us.
All right, a welcome move, but how confident are you in this plan, particularly when it comes to implementation and execution?
I think that is where the reality will lie in terms of whether and how far we can go with this program. If we lean, I think we believe that if we lean on the countries that have done this before, because there are countries that have gone through the process before, and if we learn from them as a country and align with them, work together, we should be able to achieve what we intend to achieve. In some countries, it has been faster, but in others, it has been slow. But ultimately, the desired results were achieved.
I mean, we do have 10 years, that a deadline that government has set, and hopefully we do achieve what we want to achieve. Now, the minister also said vaccines are not a silver bullet, Imameleng. From an industry perspective, what other measures are essential in containing FMD and restoring stability in the market?
I must do a disclaimer that as an association, we are more or less at the end of the
value chain,
where the meat is ready, we come in to sell the meat, be it locally or internationally. However, what is key is to make sure that the plans that are put in place do enable everyone in the value chain to be able to do their part. I think what is key, especially at the primary level, is to ensure that movement is curtailed, because that is where the spread of the disease takes place. And we were quite comforted that Minister seems to have a plan around that. And he did indicate that he was going to Cabinet to do a submission around certain measures that need to be in place. So if those can be in place, yes, we do believe that over time we should be able to achieve an FMD-free status in the country.
And I mean, he did also mention that, you know, some of those hotspot areas that would be covered, and also the borders of the likes of a Limpopo that would also be covered in terms of that vaccination program. Now, there are also plans to declare FMD as a state of disaster. Talk to me about, I guess, the practical impact that could have, right? I mean, if that does happen, I can imagine that would unlock funds for government to move forward with the plans they do have to eradicate FMD within the sector.
Yes, we do believe that that is a necessary tool. As we have seen in other declared disaster initiatives in the country, resources being pulled, out of the box regulations being implemented, which is what we need now in this situation. We need to be thinking outside the box and bringing in instruments and regulations that will ensure that we do succeed. I think business as usual has proven not to help up till now, and we've seen markets close everywhere for the red meat industry.
And I mean, you mentioned at the top that AMI does operate at towards the end of the value chain. And I'd like to just get your thoughts around how South Africa's loss of its FMD-free status affected the meat value chain. You can even give us, or rather walk us through those import and export dynamics.
What happens is it takes a very long time to get access to a market. Actually, it takes years. So after all that hard work and the number of years it has taken, once a disease is declared, the market closes like immediately. And to reopen that, you need to go through hoops and loops to make sure that the importing country is comfortable that you are able to meet the necessary requirements. And it's not only that, because at the end of the day, even when you get to that point of ensuring that you can meet the requirements, you start afresh, because when you are not in the market, there were other players that took over whatever was your market share in that country or in that region. So you start afresh, basically. So it's not going to be an easy task as the market opens tomorrow or whenever it opens after the disease has been eradicated, and we just walk into, or we waltz into a ready market that is waiting for our product. And I must emphasize that quite a number of initiatives that had been in place had yielded good results for SA meat exports, especially into high-value markets. So yes, indeed, it is in our vested interest to see that FMD is indeed eradicated, or there are measures in place that will allow for exports to resume.
All right, let's leave it there. Imameleng, thank you so much for your time and just taking us through your thoughts around that plan that was issued by Minister John Steenhuisen yesterday. That was Imameleng Mothebe, CEO of the Association of Meat Importers and Exporters of SA.